That's right. It's time for the Dog and Chicken Show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Dog and Chicken Show. This is episode 18. Is that right? Yeah, 18.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Usually I check with you before we kick it off. I guess I was just rolling the dice there, see what happened.
Get even a stop clock's right twice a day.
Yeah, that's for sure. No, we got a got a couple of interesting topics tonight. Some fun stuff. You know, the news has been a whirlwind of fake news, I guess, but all kinds of good stuff going on. But the best one, we kept wanting to come back and touch on it. We want to talk about Area 51, and we'll take that down to a dark road of God knows what. And then maybe in a little while we'll recap the excitement of the Husker game last night, evening game, and of course a lot of liquor. There was a lot of fickle fans out there, and
Yeah, just a few.
just a few. So, yeah, Tony, what do you want to talk about with the Area 51 thing? We'll start off with the raid, I'm sure, the whole Facebook
Yeah, let's
event.
start with the raid and just kind of recap that.
So, so of course we'll go back to July, I believe, is when all this got kicked off. A couple of buddies created a group of like 60 people they invited or something like that, of making a joke they wanted to go raid Area 51. It was they can't stop us all thought process turned into this huge phenomenon of 2 million people signing up for this event to where they had to shut down the Facebook page. And
Yeah,
set
it
for
got
the
so big to the point that they're like, no, we can't encourage this anymore because we're liable at this point.
Yeah, I believe the U.S. government even sent out a tweet or a message of, "Hey, like you don't want to do this. We will use force," or something like that.
No,
That's
for real, you stop. You stop. Bad
So
people.
yeah, insanity. And so then it eventually started turning into this. Well, let's just make it a big desert party and this alien fest and all this other stuff. So then it kind of turned
Like a
into a
Woodstock with
yeah,
aliens.
hell yeah, why not?
Yeah, I think it's great.
So when that, I think they lost a lot of that steam when the Facebook page got taken down. It seemed like a lot of the fodder they had just kind of fell off. So from the latest results I seen, 3,000 people did show up, and only
Yep.
200 of them made it to the gate.
See, yeah, because when it started, because I was following it all day. I had a website pulled up. I could refresh it. It was giving updates. And people were showing up throughout the night with RVs and campers and tents and everything. So, but yeah, the day of, it started out, well, there's about 40 people. Well, now there's about 75. I'm like, okay, the number's starting to go up. So you said 300? Is that right?
3,000 went to the festivities, and only 200
Right,
went
right.
to the gate.
200. Okay. Because, yeah, the last I saw it was 150 made it to the gate. But it didn't sound like they did much else than stand there. And I think there was a total of like 2 arrests the last time I looked.
Yep. 2 people arrested for actually trying to do something.
Yeah.
Nobody did anything for Romby on this one, unfortunately.
I, I'm glad that people made it to the gate. I am honestly just distraught that they didn't actually try to force through the gate. That's
Well,
what I
maybe
want to talk about.
did those two that got arrested? Did they try to force
I think
themselves?
maybe one kind of did, but the other one was just kind of being weird. And I think that's why they detained her. I think she got released like immediately after.
Yeah, I couldn't find any details on the arrest. I just seen, the numbers posted and a little bit of info from that. So that was disappointing. I was hoping to hear the deets, yo. I'm sure somebody's got
Yeah.
a cool story out there. They'll make a movie about it or a documentary.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a great Netflix show. I'm sure. So
So
yeah,
go
go
ahead, go
ahead.
ahead.
I'm just distraught. I wanted to talk about all the arrests and people getting shot with crazy alien lasers, and Man, I'm so disappointed. This had so much potential. I feel like everybody really let us down here, and all the people that clicked they were going. I mean, you got our hopes up, and I think you should probably make up for it by let's make another. Maybe we should start an event and make it a little more reasonable. That way we can get a better turnout. Maybe not a top secret government facility.
I don't know. What do you got in mind? Like, I don't have a lot of free time, so we
Okay.
got to make it worthwhile. But if we're doing it, we're doing it.
I mean, is there like a popular Waffle House or something we could like storm or
My sugar
hey,
aids wouldn't
maybe
like
like
that.
a KFC, we could storm that and get the secret ingredients. That'd be cool, right? I mean, that makes just as much sense. Or the recipe for Coca-Cola, I think that's in a vault somewhere hidden. Or
The
the
original
Disney vault.
recipe
Yeah.
with cocaine.
Well, I'm sure that'd be there too, which sounds delightful. Well, actually, no. Let's do that first, and then raid KFC. Because then you know what? We'll probably have enough steam in our tank to actually go and finish the job at Area 51.
I'm gonna lose my job and get divorced all in one night with this, ain't I?
Well, make it big. I mean, go big, right? If you're gonna do it, go big.
I guess. Shit. So I'll share. Here's just a glimpse of the news articles when you don't even get to type in and research Area 51 anymore. It is just literally just littered with
It's just this.
this. Apparently, we somebody tweeted something that we were gonna have a stealth bomber take everybody out. I don't know.
Oh, jeez. Nobody
I
wants.
like this. This is good. The Naruto runner is clearly already the one true legend of the Area 51 raid.
Was there a Naruto runner?
I don't know.
Fantastic. Oh man.
So I'm kind of like mixing some of these together. You got how town of 40 coped with an invasion, and that's what it was. And then you look at the picture down here, the people dressed up in green suits. Like, how'd you like
Oh,
to just live in this little town and minding your own business, and all these people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna come party in the desert and let's talk about aliens," and they're all dressed like that.
well, yeah. I mean, they were like the people of the town were like completely freaked out because they're like, we don't know how we're going to accommodate this for one, and if these people show up, we don't know what they're actually going to do or be capable of. So yeah, they were paranoid as hell, and I don't blame them because that. I remember just being like here in Geneva in Fillmore County, like 2 years ago when the that full eclipse happened. Like people came out of the woodwork to see that. Like there's never going to be that many people in Geneva again. It was insanity. People are, I mean, just littered across gravel roads, just trying to get a good spot. It was insane. So yeah, I can imagine a tiny little town being terrified of the potential. Yeah, even 3,000 people. I'm sure was pretty
Yeah,
inconvenient for them.
it was
I
probably
mean, like I
really
said,
inconvenient.
RVs
Hopefully,
and
somebody was smart
campers.
enough and made some money off of these idiots.
Well, that's just it. Like I assume the concert festival, whatever they did, probably generated some cash, right? Unless that was all self-funded from within the people that met. But yeah, I mean, like the local eating establishments had to at least benefit, so hopefully something good came out of it. Since we're not very entertained by the unfortunate lackluster conclusion of the raid on Area 51.
Yeah. So, kind of summing up the raid, failure, total failure.
Yeah, epic failure.
But hey, more people showed up to that than he originally invited. So I wonder if the original dude actually went.
Oh hell no! I'm sure he didn't.
He'd stand
Why
back. Look at
would
these
you?
idiots.
Yeah.
Oh, but so if let's get into the fun. Well, let's get into the darker side of this. If you actually did get into Area 51, what do you think you would actually see?
Well, that's okay. So we obviously know that it's a very top secret government facility, military base. But it's gonna be really boring because it's gonna be just hallways and doors, and that's it. And you're not gonna get on the other side of a door without, I'm sure, insane amounts of clearance, retinal scans, key cards, so on and so forth. So what you're going to see is a bunch of hallways lit up by, dim lights and that whole eerie thing. But yeah, you're not going to see shit because you're not getting, even if you manage to get in the building, you're not getting on the other side of these doors. That's the thing. So I mean, what you're going to see is nothing. I would assume nothing.
Yeah, probably not. So the only credible, and it's still questionable, would be Bob Lazar. You listen to that guy's story, and his stories have kind of resurfaced again with him coming out with a new documentary. Of course, then he went on Joe Rogan and kind of rehashed some of his thoughts, but. You see, so if the Bob Lazar, and if you don't know who Bob Lazar is, very well known, just you can easily look him up. But he was a claims to have worked for the government and was actually reverse engineering alien spacecraft parts. They were trying to figure out the propulsion system, supposedly on a spacecraft, and he was in charge of trying to reverse engineer, I believe, the propulsion, like I said. But he came public and told everybody what he had seen, what he was doing, and all this. Well, whether I hope he was doing it out of truth, because his life is ruined, and anybody else around him's life is ruined. Anybody's names got brought up by him, their lives are ruined. So hey, man, I hope it was worth it. Is it worth
Yeah.
it?
No, it can't be. Yeah, you like unless your goal in life was to just get this stuff out, this information out there. Yeah, like you said, your life's over now, and unfortunately, anybody who knows you or is associated with you is probably screwed too. So that sucks. But like, you remember like all
That
the
sucks. Yeah.
yeah, it does. It's got to suck for them because it's like they're not at fault, but yeah, you know him. Sorry, but like when you'd watch old documentaries in like the '90s of like the alien abduction stories, it'd be voice dub with in a person in the shadow you couldn't see. It was just their silhouette. Why wouldn't you do that? Do that. And why use your real name? That's my question.
Yeah.
Like, you want to lead credence and credibility to your story. No. Just no.
Bob Lazar had some crazy stuff on there, though. He was able to really, and you mentioned retinal scanners, and what you'd have to do as you're going through there. And the part of the documentary that was pretty interesting, the guy who head up the documentary was actually doing a lot of research, and Bob Lazar talked about one of those like hand fingerprint things, and supposedly back in the, what was it, 70s or 80s, when he was working there, they were using those. And everybody, when he came out with it, was like, "Oh no, those things don't exist. That's far fetched. There's no way that's real." But then the researcher for the documentary actually found one and proved that they did use him in Area 51. So Bob Lazar, like, more and more you hear of his stories back then, they tried to discredit him, and they deleted like most of his information if it's true. Like, he was at school at Caltech and MIT. Supposedly, people that remember him being in those schools, they won't talk about it because they completely erased him in his records of ever being there, and ever researching anything at those schools. And then they even say that he never even worked for them, even though there's a newspaper clipping showing that it was him. He'd done a car with a propulsion system or something for a, I don't know, some fair or whatever, and even said that he worked for this group that names him in that newspaper. So, like, there's more and more evidence coming out that, hey, this Bob Lazar guy, yeah, there might have been some truth to what he was saying, and there might be more to it than what we previously believed. And he said there was multiple. There was like 5 spacecraft or some crap like that. It was more than just one.
Well, that makes perfect sense. They want to disassociate themselves with him as much as possible since he's coming forward with the information. But yeah, it's kind of hard to rewrite history. Well, unless they've actually got some time travel, equipment stored in a closet there at Area 51.
Oh dear, are we gonna go down that hole too and talk about
Well,
time travel?
no, not tonight. Unless history's already been changed and we did dive into it.
Oh God,
Did
now
I
we're
just
in
blow your freaking mind?
multiverse, man, multiverse.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely like 5 spaceships. Yeah, okay. We go from, hey, there's a spaceship to, well, there's multiple. So there's that. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, yeah, that is pretty sweet. Um, but like, the whole base itself is just shrouded in all kinds of mystery. Not only, you got the Nevada deserts already, testing ground for nuclear weapons, and of course, they didn't even like this thing's been there since the like 40s or 50s, and it's been pretty well known that they had a base there since then, but the government hasn't actually officially come out and said, yeah, Area 51's a real place until like 2008 or something. It was just something stupid. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous. It was like very, very recent. They've just admitted that oh, yeah, that's a place.
Well, it's just like the Vatican admitting that. Okay, no, we were wrong about that whole Earth being flat thing. Sorry, and they did that like
No, they're not
not
wrong.
that
They're
long
not
ago.
wrong. The Earth is flat.
Damn, not this again.
You brought it
That's
up,
enough.
man.
Well, yeah, but okay, that's my
I
bad.
hope it was worth it.
Let me go get the tinfoil.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't come out and say, okay, we have this crazy secret place that's really not that secret, but you know where it's at. I mean, you all have Google Earth, so I guess we might as well just admit that it's a real place because you can physically see it if you go out to the desert, and we obviously have guards there. So yeah, it makes sense that they had to deny it for as long as they did, but yeah, okay, protocol, I guess.
Yeah. Just, yeah. Well, so I mean, the shady dealings out of there outside of aliens, it's been rumored to not only be reverse engineering alien spacecraft and weaponry and blah blah blah, but okay, what if it's just a testing facility for new weapons and aircraft that we're building that we came up with? Why
Yeah,
does it always have to be aliens? Like it just gets so.
no,
It comes back to Roswell, is what it really does.
yeah,
It's just
that's the connection.
nobody can let that connection go. Which Roswell, whatever, yeah, believe it or not believe it, that was a long time ago, and people were really stupid back then. Uh,
Well, yeah, we didn't have Google Earth, so
yeah, yeah,
yeah. No, I get it though. I mean, the connection's obvious, and it's way more interesting to think about what crazy stuff they have there than it is. Well, yeah, they obviously house weapons and aerial machinery that they're testing and building. So yeah, that's obviously there, but that's boring to think about and speculate about. Let's throw in that little dash of alien to make it fun to talk about. That's where the conspiracy comes in. Yeah, obviously Roswell, but yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, it's probably a pretty boring place. At least half of it. I mean, just think how boring like half of the stuff of it is. Like, there's got to be like a little accountant somewhere in a desk that's just bored as hell most of the time. Like, you think about like half of it, it's got to be just boring as hell. Like, they could probably do like a sitcom like The Office out of there. It'd be awesome, right?
absolutely. No, yeah, it's probably just a bunch of hangars and crates and storage areas and a whole bunch of crap. There's a big airport there. One of the interesting ones is they do have a like all the people that work there. So if you do look at it on Google Earth, like there's a ton of parking. Like there's a lot of people that work there apparently, but they all fly in instead of driving through the mountain and or
Yeah.
the whatever desert area. But they actually fly in, and the plane is an unmarked plane. I've read. I can't confirm any of this. I'm just going with what I see on the internet because everything the internet says is true. But it's like
Most of it.
it's a big airliner, but it's just got a red stripe across it, and there's no names on it, no nothing. And that's how these folks get in and out of there. And then they have vehicles supposedly there for them to drive around on base. I don't know. It sounds kind of weird, but
You gotta assume that part of that is to, obviously keep it secret how many people actually work there, and then obviously a lot of people probably want to keep it anonymous that they work there. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And even the people that they ship in, you know, there's probably people that like live there because mm, they're probably so secretive about what they do there that they can't let them leave. So there's probably people who just flat out live there.
yeah, I bet. I mean, I don't know. Like at a certain point, like you got to have like an NDA. So, how do you get deeper than an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement with somebody of, hey, we're going to show you some really top secret stuff. We're going to have you help us make it better or more advanced. Sign this paper, and you can't tell anybody. You can't tell anybody. They're like, okay, I don't trust you. Even if you sign this paper, I can sue the hell out of you, but the damage will be done. So, how about this type of NDA? If you say anything, you're dead and your family's dead and you never existed. How about that? That's a cool
Yeah.
NDA. Like if somebody was like, I got a job for you. Here's this NDA that says if you ever open your mouth, like all this horrible stuff's gonna happen to everybody you ever known or loved. I'll be like, dude, where do I sign? I'm in. I am all in. I'll
Initial
shut my
here,
mouth. I want to see
date
this.
here. Yeah. I mean, do they really file that paperwork somewhere? If you talk, we will kill you. I assume that the mafia doesn't do that, but it's kind of the same protocol. You talk,
Yeah.
you die.
Yeah. It'd be pretty crazy. I'm sure there's some crazier stuff than any of us could ever imagine. But I
Oh
guess
yeah.
I guess that's the newer conspiracy. So I listen to a lot of conspiracy podcasts, and like the newest one is, and if you haven't noticed, in the last like 5-10 years, and especially in the last 2 years, there have been more and more news articles in the government admitting to UFOs or what do they call them, aerial phenomenon now, where
Yeah.
but they're admitting to a bunch of this stuff and like making us actually go, oh, okay, there's weird things that even the government can't explain, and this weird stuff going on. But the newest conspiracy is that they're gonna have us so freaked out and believing that UFOs and aliens are gonna take over that they're gonna fake an alien invasion to take over America, but they can't do that till they take our guns first. Like that's where the conspiracy theories are at right now.
So Beto started this.
You're welcome. He does look like an alien, so
Okay. I was gonna say, like, at some point the government's got to give you a bit of a taste of some of the stuff they won't admit to. Otherwise, the conspiracy ball just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So they give you a little taste. They give you a sample. You can have this. I mean, we're not going to talk about the real stuff, but yeah, okay, yeah, there was an anomaly in the air. Okay, we'll admit that. You give them a taste. You can keep the hungry at bay a bit longer. But I don't think you need to do a full-on alien invasion if you successfully take the guns away. Like, what's the point of that then?
because
You
it would
take everybody's gun away.
so yeah,
What?
I thought about
Why
that
go
too,
through
but
the hassle?
it's supposedly it's going to be like a post 9/11 when everybody was together again, and that's how you get everybody on one page and go in the one direction and thinking the same way. It's group think and try to
Yeah.
trigger everybody to do the same thing at one time. That's how we gave up the NDAA and National Defense Authorization Act and Patriot Act that gave up like half of our freaking rights. Well, that was because of 9/11, and we all were in a panic and we're like, do something.
Yeah. It results out of fear. I get it, but I think a faked alien invasion is kind of
It
unnecessary
seems
at that.
it seems a little far fetched, doesn't it?
Well, I mean,
Is it though?
I, I don't know anymore. I don't know. I honestly don't.
I don't know.
Still lost.
It's like Jeffrey Epstein, and there's no way they would let him kill himself. What, he killed himself?
No, no. It's almost impossible. The probability of that.
And the cameras don't work. I just what? Everything's too convenient sometimes. But then, like, so here's the deal. Everybody listening, and Tony, of course, if tomorrow or tonight or whenever, if you see on the news aliens have invaded, you know it's a psyop. You heard it here first,
Yeah.
folks.
There you have it. Like, nobody needs to panic. There does not need to be any mass, hysteria, because we are telling you right now, if there's an alien invasion, the government's behind it.
Definitely.
And that's the
It's
saddest part. If
Beto
we
coming
do,
for you.
it is. It's Beto. But like, if we ever do have a freaking alien ship land, and it's legit, and they come out and talk to us and shit, that's gonna be the first thing people say. Well, obviously it's fake, and the government did it. Like all the conspiracy that aliens exist and we're hiding it. If it shows up, we're gonna go no, fake, fake.
Fake news. I'm
That's
not
how
watching
jaded.
CNN anymore. I'm done with this. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's how jaded we are as people. Like you're not telling us the truth. You're hiding stuff from us. Okay, here it is. No.
No, if
Don't
you're showing me that, that means
you're
there's
wrong.
something else going on.
Exactly. We know there's no trust. There's no trust.
There's a reason there's no trust, because you have things like Area 51 and possibility and, maybe Bob Lazar's telling the truth. Like, that's why there is no trust. And then, and then whether it's Clinton, Bush, Hillary, or Trump, whoever it is, you trust any of them?
No, God, no. Oh, and I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm gonna ask people to trust the government, but like to a point. I mean, we have to. But no, if Beto's gonna take our guns and stage a alien invasion, I guess. Well,
So
we'll just have to come up with something else to defend ourselves, I guess.
it's not like it's never happened before. Like we've seen. So that'll kind of segue us into the next piece of this. Is we wanted to bring up the Battle of Los Angeles. Everybody knows about Area 51, and everybody's probably seen or heard the movie and crap like that about the battle for Los Angeles. But that was a real thing, and it was quite possibly a alien attack, or people just freaking out over nothing and
Yeah.
and going crazy. What do you know about it?
Yeah. Well, it's maybe not super well known. Like people, yeah, like you said, people know the name because of the movie. And I didn't see the movie because I'm sure it was terrible. Most of them are. It's just an assumption I make most of the time. But yeah, 1942, February 25th, or excuse me, 24 to 25. In L.A., there was well, obviously you can call it a UFO because it was unidentified flying object in the sky in the night where searchlights, anti-aircraft guns, I mean, they go unload on this thing, and obviously we're still very, very freaked out because of Japan and Pearl Harbor. So everybody's freaking out about this, and yeah, there you go. Like that's a terrible picture. What is that?
So this is actual footage of
Okay. That's why it looks so great.
yeah. So
Yeah, those of you who can't see, you've got your searchlights pointing at an anomaly in the sky, and then eventually they like unload on it.
yeah, and that's what this video is. You see the white flashes, which in the back, or the little white flashes you see popping around in there. Those are anti-aircraft shells exploding in the air, and they had all these spotlights. So what actually happened was like 11 p.m. The prior night, the Coast Guard had identified something off the coast. And just prior to this, I think it was 2 weeks prior to it, the Japanese, of course, this is World War II time frame, and the Japanese had actually tried to bomb an oil field close by. So they were really they were monitoring like crazy to see what Japan was going to try to do right after Pearl Harbor, of course. So
everybody's trigger happy, obviously. So they're freaked out because they think it's another Japan coming to attack again. But then they do this, they unload on this thing, and nothing happens.
They didn't just unload on it; they unloaded on it for hours. Like
yeah.
So like
that can't be stressed enough. Like they used all the bullets, all of them.
So it first identified at 11, and it sounded like it was moving it wasn't moving very fast. Like it wasn't like a plane that you'd see like skimming over top. From what I read, it was like anywhere moving maybe 40 mile an hour. So it took quite a while to make it across a large chunk of space. but they they kept shelling it, and so the whole city of Los Angeles went into a blackout, and they had to shut off all their lights. They're calling people in their houses, and everybody had to join in on the partakings of shutting your lights off and witnessing this spectacle. And so they started shining these spotlights. Some people think it was a weather balloon.
Yeah,
I'm
that's the
sorry, the
thing.
percussion from those explosions probably would have freaking destroyed a weather balloon.
Well,
Like,
yeah, 'cause that was the excuse given. Like, it makes sense, except for the fact that a
it
weather
doesn't.
balloon would not have survived that. I don't think. Pretty impressive weather balloon if it did.
Yeah. But yeah, this is real life. This actually happened, and folks
I
waking
don't think a
up
lot of
at,
people know about it, honestly.
yeah, it was like what, 2 in the morning. They start shelling
Hmm.
whatever they're shining the spotlight on, and they tracked this thing over the city for hours, and they didn't release the lights out ordinance until like 7 something in the morning. But they so from 11 p.m. till 7 in the morning, they've been tracking this thing and shooting the hell out of it all night long.
Yeah, and nobody could even offer up a logical reason at the time what it was. But does it show like how this ends?
No, it just showing some footage on here.
Okay. Yeah.
It
Trying to find
pretty
more info on like the weather balloon theory, but it sounds insane to call it a weather balloon. But like I've watched a lot of videos on it, and they make it make sense, except for the fact that they completely would have obliterated a weather balloon. So I don't know.
right,
Hard to
and
say.
that's where I land with it. Like, those anti-aircraft guns, like those are just big percussion things in the sky. Like, It,
See, I
it
didn't see
damaged
this.
buildings below. It damaged cars. It injured
Yeah.
people in the city below it. Like, how did the weather balloon survive all night long?
Exactly. It's a great weather balloon. I didn't see
It's a
this, but
great weather balloon.
it
Yes,
is.
yes, it is. It was made by Trump. He made that
Oh
weather
wow.
balloon. It's fantastic. It's amazing. I make great weather balloons.
It's the greatest weather balloon ever. So apparently they had to move troops into Disney Studios lot in Burbank. I didn't know that. That's kind of messed up. To defend the Hollywood facility and nearby factories against the enemy sabotage or air attacks. So yeah, like nobody knew what was going on this whole time. Like there was no information being distributed properly. Nobody knows what's going on. So then by the time it's all said and done, like if they ever did figure out what it was, they had to give a convenient excuse because they didn't know what it was, so they gave the weather balloon idea. And I, yeah, because like the lights they made make it sense. Okay, because weather balloons have these lights and they typically look like an alien spacecraft. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. But I'm trying to. I want to find a picture of one of the weather balloons that they tried to compare it to, and I'm not having much luck here.
Yeah, well, so this one specifically, I break it down into like one of three categories. So, if it is the weather balloon, if that's to
Yeah,
me that one just seems a little ridiculous. But hey, I guess anything's possible. So that's one of the possibilities, and maybe we just fantasize that it's something more or less. There's a possibility that we had a bunch of dummies with those spotlights, and they were shooting it into a cloud, thinking something's actually there that's not. So they just start
yeah,
blowing the hell out of nothing all night long because we're incompetent, which they would never want to admit that. So yeah, of course they're going to say, "Well, it
yeah.
was a weather balloon. We're not incompetent. There was something there. We saw it." Or there was actually something that they were shooting and trying to blow the hell out of. And actually, one other theory is they actually downed 2 alien aircraft that night in Los Angeles and recovered both of the aircraft and took them to dun, 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 Area 51.
So that would explain two of the five.
Yeah, yeah. Roswell's another one, so there's three. I'm sure.
Yeah,
We had the Phoenix lights. I guess
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if that was before or after Lazar. I don't know.
I'm looking. Okay, I found a picture of it, but it mostly looks like the weather balloon looks like a parachute. So you can't tell me that they unload on this thing as long as they did with as much firepower as they did, and it wouldn't have like shredded this thing into nothing. Because like they said, they found nothing, right? So, well, no shit. If it was a weather balloon, there was nothing left to find. I mean, there literally could have been nothing left.
I'm gonna have to look for that picture. I haven't
Yeah, it
seen
looks
what
like
this.
a parachute.
I haven't seen what this supposed weather balloon's supposed to look like.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's. You look at that, you're like, how does
Okay,
that
yeah, I
even
see. I see what you're looking at. All right, let me share this real quick so those viewing on YouTube can see what Tony's kind of
There
calling
we
out
go.
here. So here's several different thoughts and views and images. So those listening in, not on YouTube, it really does. It's like a big ball on top with strings hanging from it to a middle point. So it really looks like somebody just kind of hanging from a parachute.
Yeah, that's all it looks
Yeah. Well, yeah. There you go. There's. Uh, that's. I guess that's
perfect.
more realistic of a weather balloon. I guess.
Yeah, it's literally just a hot air balloon. Like that's it. So I don't know. I don't think that that could have survived. An entire military force dumping its entire payload into it. But I guess what do I know? Yeah, it's
I
just
have a
it's such
feeling
a
that's a not a actual image.
no that's way too good of a picture. 1942. We didn't have Instagram.
Yep. But yeah, now they're making movies about all this, and it's going to get doctored up, and the true story's going to get lost. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's actually an interesting image there with the reverse there, the thermal look.
yeah,
I mean, you really see the shape of it, and that does not look like parachute-shaped weather balloon.
no, it sure doesn't. Kind of looks like I don't know what does that look like.
Nothing I know. Clearly aliens, though.
Clearly, alien spacecraft. Absolutely,
Has to be.
no doubt about it.
So yeah, it's one of those mysteries that obviously it's been so long ago we're never gonna know really what happened. I mean, if they did recover something, be it an alien spacecraft or Japanese aircraft that was actually attacking, they just took it and hit it. Maybe that happened, or they shredded a weather balloon to a million pieces. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess none of us will ever know until we see it on CNN.
There you go. There you go. Hopefully they'll tell us when they fake that alien invasion, and they can be like, "Well, sorry, but that really was an aircraft." And well, here they're back. They're back now. They're invading. Sorry, we took your guns, but you better just cooperate.
Yep. No, it'll be like,
Thanks,
no,
NATO.
no, it's another one of Donald Trump's amazing weather balloons that he keeps talking about. So,
Thanks, President Beto, for taking my AR-15.
yeah.
Now I can't fight them aliens.
Oh. So, yeah, have you ever had any experiences or know anybody who claims to have either seen a UFO or had contact or any of that? Because, like, it's more common than most people want to believe. It's just sometimes people don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be thought of as crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've talked to, a good handful of people that have seen something weird in the sky, and it's odd because it's usually the same story. Like, okay, it hung there, it moved around a little bit, it was weirdly lit up, and then it zipped away way faster than it should have been possible. And that's usually the story you get. But yeah, like you said, a lot of people don't want to talk about it. But I have talked to people who have seen something like that, and the weird thing is, like, it's usually by people who wouldn't say stuff like that. So they saw something, but you can't explain it. So it's very common. Like, I remember like on when we do like research trying to find a haunted place, there was one website that had UFO sighting listed on there as well, and Geneva was actually listed one of the places. Somebody'd seen something. So you know that it's just some drunk dude from leaving the bar that saw something weird, but reported it because like it had to be. I just don't see a lot of alien activity in tiny little town here. Sorry,
Yeah.
I cannot believe it.
So, no
But yeah,
personal
like I said,
experiences or anything like that?
yeah. So I don't know. It is pretty common that people see stuff, but man, you'd think we'd have something more definitive by now. Like, even if you scour YouTube, like, you're going to find videos, but it's still like trying to decipher Sasquatch video. They're not good. No, none of
Right.
them are like compelling or crystal clear actual footage proof.
No, yeah, there's most of them are garbage and junk, and so I in my experience, so when I was a little kid, like and I never really thought I seen a spaceship. Like I wondered what the hell I seen. But I remember I was laying on the back of a pickup truck and looking up at the sky, which back, when I was a kid, I didn't know what the hell a stealth bomber was. But, as I look through the silhouette of the moon, there's this triangle shaped thing that's like flying, and I'm like, whoa. And like, I think I was like 9. I about shit my pants, jumped up and ran into the house. I would not go back outside that house. Freaked out. That was crazy. As I got older, I was like, oh, okay, that's not really something to worry about. It's probably nothing. Never had any other experiences outside of that, and I've talked to a few people who feel like they have, and it is what it is. And the coolest one I ever had, and so aging us a little bit right here. I know I was at a high school, but like my cell phone, it only had, I think it was SD chips first, or no, SD chips weren't in phones yet. So all you had was
Yeah.
like the internal memory of your camera.
Yep.
I had that white Nokia flip phone. And I filled that son of a bitch up, and I had no memory left. And I remember I was out at my old man's cabin, and I'm trying to find a picture of kind of what I seen. It's hard to find it because it's not what you would typically think. Actually, hey, there you go. That's actually kind of close to it. Let me pull up here. This is really sci-fi looking. It's not exactly what I seen, but it's probably closer to the shape of what I seen. Now, I really don't know. So the image up here on the top right, it didn't have those little wings on the sides,
Right.
but it was kind of shaped like that in general, and it was
That is
spinning.
Boba Fett Slave One from Star Wars.
Right. So, but it was kind of spinning, and it was, I don't know, it was probably about 300 yards away. I have no idea if it was alien or government or whatever the hell it was, but like I remember I whipped out my camera. I'm like, no way, I'm gonna catch this. I was out of fucking memory on my phone.
Uh,
I was so pissed, but it was like right there, and of course, I'm all alone, waiting for everybody else to show up at the cabin, and yeah, it was just one of those ones. I'm like, okay, I'm the only one that's seen this, so I don't get to share that thought or experience with anybody, I
so you
guess.
said 300 yards away. Like, was that how high up you think?
It was actually only probably about 20 feet off the ground. It was not very high up.
No kidding. Okay. So, and this is dating us again, but drones weren't a thing yet.
Nope,
We didn't have drones.
drones weren't even thought
And
of.
no, we did not have drones. So clearly, it couldn't have been that. Now, how big do you think it was? Like, what size wise?
I would say probably about half the size of a compact car.
Okay.
So you
So
take your.
obviously, didn't have somebody piloting it. You don't think?
No, it looked completely robotic to me. And like I said, it was spinning, and the first thing when I seen it, I was like, is something holding that thing up? Like, and I looked up in the air thinking, maybe the weather balloon thought, whatever, like thinking something's holding that thing up. But no, it was just going along and just spinning. I didn't see any like fancy lights. It was metallic. The whole thing was metallic, and I could tell it was spinning and rotating. It was probably only going like, I don't know, 15 mile an hour. And like I said, maybe 20, maybe 10 feet off the ground. It wasn't very high at all, and it went across the cornfield and like hover or kind of like through the ditch of the road, and then started going out in the middle of nowhere. Where that cabin was, it was right on the edge of the river, out on a country road, and it just went out into a cornfield and until I couldn't see it beyond the tree line anymore because I was kind of closed off there. But it was crazy, and
What time of day was this?
this was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wow.
Yeah. Craziest thing that I'm stone cold sober at this time. Like, can't blame that. But yeah, no, I just had
That
no.
was my next question. How deep? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was incredible. But yeah, I was like, well, the closest thing I ever seen to it. I was watching just randomly. I was watching an episode of Ancient Aliens. This was about a year ago, and they were talking about different spacecraft, blah blah blah, and they called it a scout ship. And what it does, it's like a reconnaissance. Supposedly, of course, this is
Yeah.
Ancient Aliens, so God knows what drugs
Yeah.
these people are on. But it looked just like what I seen. They had a picture of it on there, and they said it was a reconnaissance or a scout, and it just kind of goes out ahead just to make sure it's all clear, that type of ship. And I'm like, well, whatever it was, that's what it looked like. It was pretty cool. And I left it at that. I really didn't go back to it again. I was like, huh, yeah, that's kind of what I seen. Cool. Left it at that. I was like, I'm not the only one that's seen that. Cool. All right.
You got scouted. That's pretty sweet.
I know, right? Should have offered it some beer. I think we were getting ready to party that night. I can't remember. Yeah. That would be great. Just, yeah. Come over.
Oh,
Have a
yeah.
drink. Be a
Yeah,
good
land
time.
over here.
I got
Just
this
drive
random
away.
fly that is bugging the piss out of me.
I just say, just zipping around your head.
Yeah. You got some orbs in the background.
That's what I thought it was at first. Was obviously an orb, so you're probably going to be possessed soon.
Yeah, for sure. Any other alien stories or anything?
I don't have it. I would love to see something crazy, but no, I haven't seen something like that. I'd love to, but I'm not one of the lucky ones, I guess.
Not one of
But
the
now
cool kids.
the problem now is like everybody has a drone, so that's probably really hurt the chances of us ever getting any really good UFO footage now, because well, it's pretty identifiable what those are
Yeah,
typically.
yeah.
So I don't know. It might be one of those things that kind of goes by the wayside eventually.
I don't know. We'll see if there's an invasion.
Well, yeah, when Beto fakes the invasion.
Oh, Beto. Damn Beto. That guy's crazy. Hell yes, I'm gonna take your guns. I'm like, what the
How
fuck?
stupid are you? Like, really? Like, what on...
I want to be president. I'm gonna piss off everybody. Go.
I get it. I get that it's a Hail Mary thing to do, but you're a Democrat who wants to...
It's a Hail Mary that nobody's gonna catch. Like
No.
that's a
No,
Hail
there's
Mary into the crowd. Like
All the
that's not even
receivers
towards
ran
the
the
end
other
zone.
direction.
That's like it's a turnaround Hail Mary. Like
Yeah. Why would you give the party that you're supposedly running against the most useful piece of footage? Like, and the NRA is going to clip that down and show that to everybody they can. See, the liberals want to take your guns. Clearly, you need to join the NRA. Why would you do that? Why would you give them that fuel? That's the dumbest thing he could have done.
oh my god. And
Like,
so
he's got to be like working for the Republicans. like that's the only explanation.
new
The
conspiracy
NRA
theory.
paid
It's
him
a
off to say
psyop.
that.
It's a psyop to get
It
Trump
is.
reelected.
It's so stupid. That's the dumbest thing he could have done, and he did. So it's great. It's just so stupid. I'm ready for this election to be over already. I am. It's insane. We're another year away. These people are idiots. They're gonna run our country. It's great.
Oh my god. So yeah.
It's so much lighter in your room now.
Yeah, well, I'm sitting next to a window and the sun must have come back out. So,
Okay.
like, yeah, whatever. I'm trying to get some free lighting, like just making it visually appealing to everybody that's
Alright,
watching at home.
I like it. My nips are hard.
Nope, don't like that.
Segway.
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. Can I say that?
Yeah, I think you can.
Okay.
Why can't you? Why not?
Well, I don't know. It's just every week I almost have to ask what you can and can't say.
No, you can say whatever you want now because we have that great out of you can identify as whatever the hell you want. So you can say whatever you want. I mean, really,
Oh wow.
like there's
Yeah.
no racism. Like having 52 genders, like there's no racism now because anybody can identify as whatever the hell they want. You can't call me racist. That's being sexist. Calling me
Whoa.
racist is sexist.
So the sexism trumps the racism?
Well, I think it has to because I mean, at some point there is no sex, different sex. It's we're all the same now.
But
So
are we?
obviously, skin color and nationality doesn't matter. Why would gender? If gender doesn't, I mean, it only makes sense. A equals B, right?
A equals B. So I
Well,
can
correct.
still do blackface, right?
No.
But
Nope.
what
Turns out you can't do that.
Justin Trudeau did.
Yeah. Okay, fine. It's coming back.
He
Bringing
did
it
it
back.
twice. He did it twice, man.
Why not? I mean, you go ahead. I'll follow your lead. Promise.
Yeah,
There
I
you
need
go.
to
Next
learn.
week, folks, tune in to episode 19 where he will be wearing blackface.
I just need to learn how to speak Spanish, and everybody would just love me. That's all it
No, wear
takes.
blackface and pretend to speak Spanish. Like, make up words. Like, why don't you just knock all of it out in one offensive segment? I think that'd
And
be
act
brilliant.
Asian, and yeah, just do it in an Asian accent with blackface on, speaking poor Spanish. Oh, Spanglish.
Yeah.
We'll do Spanglish.
Well, tuck your junk behind your legs and tell us you're female, because
Yeah, I'll have to give you some pronouns. Yeah. Jesus.
This is so offensive.
Yeah, it's getting that way. No, back to Beto. The funniest thing. Did you
Yeah,
see
there you
that?
go.
Did you see that one lady that came to one of his deals was like, "Hell no, you're not going to take my gun." And like she's like confronting him in one of his crowds, and he's doing questionnaire on these stairs, and she's like, you know, I'm a 100-pound woman. I got kids. I can't defend myself with a fist. And this old fat dude, like standing next to her, says something about an AR. She goes, "No, I did not bring my AR. I brought my Glock, and I have your back, sir." And then somebody went down the road and said something about, "Sorry, Beto, that you want to take everybody else's guns because you can't have a gun since you're a felon." I was like, "Oh snap!"
Oh, snap. Damn. Yeah, and that's who we have deciding these things, saying these stupid things. That's great. It's just, ugh. And they call the population stupid. They call the uninformed voters stupid. Yet, are these people any better? Is Beto any better? I don't think he is.
No, he's good at like flopping around and waving his arms and doing this and really animated all the time. God, I want to smack him. Like, calm the fuck down, dude. Calm down. Just sit down. Sit down. Take the Adderall out of your pocket. Set it on the counter for a day or two. Chill the fuck out, dude.
Nobody's voting for his Adderall guy. Why
Yeah.
don't they just put that on the ballot? The guy that looks like, yeah, he's cracked out. Vote for him. He'll take your guns.
Yeah.
Like the guy like last election that said he was gonna make porn illegal. Like great platform, dude. Know your voters. Clearly, you have your finger on the pulse. Take our porn, please.
Yeah. That's gonna win a lot of people over.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. You know why? Because he fell into obscurity pretty quickly. I wonder why.
Yeah, that's what'll happen. So yeah, we got gun talk out of the way, we got alien talk out of the way, we got politics out of the way. I guess let's recap Huskers. Unless you got something
Do we
else
have
before
to?
we. Yeah, I think it
They
must be
won.
done. We
They
won. We
won.
won. We won.
I don't know how, but yeah, we won.
It was a rough
We
game.
won.
So,
4-point win's a win. I mean, and it's the first road win since Purdue in 2017.
yeah.
Snapped
Yeah.
like 8 games. Ugh.
No,
Yeah.
it started rough. We were down 14-0 right away, and
Yeah.
I think the
Play
thing.
drive at like 72 yards. You
Yep.
go on the road and you're trying to snap a losing streak and you get just punched in the mouth like that right out of the gate, and then you're down 2 scores immediately. And I guess the only good thing I can say there is they didn't quit. Like year or so ago, yeah, this year and a half ago, this team would have quit. Like that game would have gotten out of hand like it did at Purdue when
Yeah.
we first went there and got just absolutely smoked for no good reason. But no, they didn't. They didn't quit. I mean, man, I'll give them that. That's one of the best takeaways I have. They didn't give up, and they somehow found a way to wear the other team down, and they stuck to their guns. They didn't try to do anything out of desperation. They stayed the course, and eventually it paid off. That's kind of man. That is Tom Osborne in a nutshell. I mean, and it shows through Scott Frost.
Yeah. So yeah, I was one of the really, really cautious ones going into this game and going into the season. We had the big hype train, and I'm like, hold the phone, people. Like, we're gonna be better. We're not gonna be great. So what? So first, told you so. But I'll keep saying that week after week. But
Is that a moral victory for you?
yeah, I guess, but I was still pissed.
Put a
Like, I'm not
star on your
happy about
shirt.
it. I'm not happy about it.
Give
I,
yourself a ribbon.
yeah, I was hoping I'd be wrong this season, and
Yeah.
I was going to be the naysayer, and I thought I would be that fickle fan or something. But I'm just probably the more realistic. I'd put it that way. But um, so going into it, we're down 14-0 right away. Our offense isn't getting anything going. Our defense they just looked lost out there in that first
Yeah.
quarter, and even through a lot of that second quarter. It was ugly. It was just so
Whoever
ugly. And
had the ball on their team, it didn't matter. We couldn't wrap up, and when we did wrap up, it didn't matter. They'd still get like 4 or 5 yards out of it.
yep.
We couldn't. We had no answer to stop anybody. We could not do it.
So I think and we all know the third and fourth quarter we rallied, and we said last week you can't win games doing that. Like, that's so hard, especially. I mean, I get it's a comeback and whatever, we're in their field, but I don't know how we survive a game with 4 freaking turnovers. We only got one from them.
Three turnovers. It might say 4, but no, it was
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
That was garbage.
So I'll give you a
Talking about
chance to elaborate on that one here shortly.
yeah, the fumble that apparently these refs have never, been familiarized with the tuck rule in the NFL and the nonsense that is. But Martinez is reaching back to throw, and his arm is coming forward, and the ball goes forward. Yet it's a fumble because instead of a nice spiral sailing through the air, it does a tumble through the air. Still forward motion. It was still a pass, but no, it's a fumble. Okay, that makes
Well, and
perfect
isn't
sense.
that the one that they whistled the play dead?
Might have been. I don't remember.
And so none of our guys were reacting to the ball on the ground because they thought it was
Right.
an incomplete pass, and so they
Well, yeah,
whistled the
of
play
course.
dead. And then Illinois jumps on the ball, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, Illinois got it." And we're like, "Wait a minute, you whistled the play dead. Like, that's a dead ball."
Yeah. Then the best part, towards the end, their quarterback does the same damn thing, but instead of a tumble, it does a spiral. So it wasn't a fumble then, because it's the exact same situation. It just there's so many inconsistencies. Like they blatantly missed pass interferences on both sides. So many holding calls blown, but then they would call the dumbest shit.
Oh,
And look at
every
things-
every kickoff they had a penalty for almost every kickoff. I've never seen the kickoff offsides. Like, I'm like, really? You're gonna be nitpicky about a kickoff?
And what in the blue hell? I have never seen a kickoff land on the field, a player go out of bounds, reach back in, touch the ball, and have that called kickoff out of bounds. Isn't it when a player goes out of bounds on their own volition they are no longer allowed to be involved in the play.
That's
That
one
was
I
always
wanted.
my understanding.
Yeah, that's one I wanted to look up because that was my thought originally. I was like, what a dumbass! Why would he do that?
And how does that
And
count anyway? He's out of bounds. The ball stopped. How is he? It makes no sense. The ball never even went out, but he's out, and now it's out. I don't get it.
yep. Well, folks, that's what you get if Beto gets elected. There's stupid rules like that.
Thanks, Beto. So yeah, I'd like to see some more information on that. I always thought once a guy went out of bounds, he was out, unless he was forced out. He clearly wasn't forced out. Maybe it's different on kickoffs. I don't think so.
No, yeah, we'll have to look more into that. It was kind of crazy, almost disgusting. Um, but
Yeah, I don't know how many times I said bench him, bench him, bench him, and they didn't bench him, and thankfully they didn't because Adrian Martinez, obviously, he played so much better in the fourth quarter than I ever thought he would. Like,
yeah,
it was insane.
he
He
really
finally
turned it
got it.
around. So my thoughts on this game was if Adrian Martinez doesn't get if he doesn't get his poop in a group by halftime, they might bench him and bring in Vedral and see if he can make something happen. Now, going into halftime, it was 14-21, so it's not like dire straits and absolutely have to bench him and make that decision. I think if it
It
would have
was
been
just his
28
play
to
up to that point.
right, if it would have been 28-14 at halftime, I wonder if that decision might have been made. But regardless, that's where it landed.
I don't
But
think he will. I don't think he's willing to bench him because I think Frost is one of those coaches that's like, I'm not going to throw crap at the wall to see what sticks, and I'm not going to completely torch this kid's, head and mind frame by benching him because when I need him to come back in, and I will, where's his head going to be at then? So I get it, but man, he was playing bad to start this game. And like I said, he found a groove, and they managed to finally get field position and manage drives and pick up first downs and keep them alive because they were getting terrible field position. They were in and out, three and out constantly. The defense is getting gassed. I mean, look at the scoreboard. Yeah, the defense gave up a lot of points, but man, they were out there fighting. They were in a dogfight out there. They're lucky they didn't score another 20.
yeah,
So I don't know. I hate the score, but man, they're tough. They had to put up with a lot. I mean, they held off a lot more points off the board than I really thought they would.
yeah, I think my biggest takeaway on it was our defense scared the living shit out of me in this matchup, and how that fast pace they were not keeping up with, and they got tired. Now, we outlasted, of course, throughout. I think we had a total of 98 plays, and a
It was
huge
some
chunk of
insane
them were runs. Like their defense was wore out by the end of that game. So
And we would have had over 700 yards, but kneeling dropped us back to 690. The
yeah,
victory formation dropped us down to like 690. But we would have had over 700 yards. So, as bad as they played on offense in the first half, we still 700 yards. Holy
yeah.
crap.
Yeah, well, Martinez 327 through the air and then 118 on the ground. Just Adrian, like
Which is insane to me because he was so gun shy throughout most of this game to actually take off and run.
yeah,
When he finally figured it out and started going and not hesitating, it was seamless. It was
yeah,
effortless.
it
And they were
was.
so gassed at that point anyway. He's getting way more yards than he should have been. So yeah, when they finally hit that groove, it was fine. But
Yep.
man, it took a long time to get there.
I just think like, and so I got Husker groups and different things on Facebook and chat groups and just oh man, there's so many people like if we lose this game, Scott's got to go, Frost's got to go. Like whoa, shut the hell up. If we lose
I,
this game, it's all Martinez's fault. Okay, shut the hell up. Like, calm down.
agree with
Everybody
that.
expects us to be a national championship team already. Shut up. We only won 4 games last year, folks. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
I cannot fathom why people even let it escape their mouth. Scott Frost should be fired, or we need to look in a different direction.
That's been the answer for every coach so far. So that's the only thing.
Look at
That's the only thing they
Tennessee.
know what to say anymore.
Look at Tennessee. They became a revolving door school, and they're worse off than we are. Like, and they have been for a long time. Like, we both kind of fell out of relevance about the same time, and they're in a worse place. Trust me. They couldn't even get someone to coach their team for a while. Like, they made a lot of failed attempts to hire people this last time. What do you want from Scott Frost here? He took over a team that, frankly, just had no football IQ anymore and had no strength, no conditioning pumped into them. They barely had to work out. Their offense, their defense, it was all just a complete rebuild. I didn't think it was going to be this bad this far into year two. I didn't, but it's showing that he had to take a bunch of guys, wads of cookie dough and carve them out of wood. And it is clear if you look at the guys who've been in the program for a while, compare those to guys like Wandale Robinson, who, when he makes a play, it's pure athleticism. The football IQ
It's
is there.
electric.
It's just natural.
When he gets
Yeah.
the ball, it's electric. When Washington gets the ball, it's electric. You've seen heart from those kids. Like they were,
Like, it's natural.
yeah. And then you got, like you said, the ones that have been there 4 or 5 years,
And
under
they still don't get it.
came in under
Like,
Riley,
that's
and
like, look at the
they're
Davis
lazy.
twins. Look at the Davis twins, who had unlimited potential. By this time, should have been just unstoppable monsters. But 3 years of Riley, I mean, they screwed him.
Yeah,
They-
3 years.
they-
3 years of Riley. I bet you're a really nice guy, though.
Oh yeah, I'm very nice. So yeah, like they're still making stupid penalties and missing stuff, and they shouldn't be. I mean, they're making plays. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, you compare that to like a Wandale, it's just seamless. He just gets it. He knows where to be. He knows what to do. Like a lot of the time, it's not on him. It's nobody was there to help him, and those are those guys that have been there for a while. So I hate to say it, but you get more of these guys out, bring in more new, and wow, is it going to turn around quick? Like, I don't know. Maybe next year you really see that jump that we should have saw this year.
Yeah, I think. Well, and now we got game day coming to Lincoln for Ohio State to
shit.
watch us get smacked around.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Like, there's so many other better games that they could go to. There's a lot better games.
Is this Herb
man.
Street trying to get another DUI or something, or was that Herb
What?
Street or Corso? Which one got a
Musburger.
Dewey? I can't remember.
Musburger.
Oh, Musburger. Yeah.
He got open container, I think.
Oh,
I think
well.
it was open container. I remember watching a game. Somebody asked him if he'd been to Lincoln before. Yeah, I've been. Yeah, he just kind of shied away from it.
No, I
hate
think.
Musburger. I hate Musburger.
Yeah. Well, so with
My favorite Musburger was I was watching Tennessee was playing like Tulane or like a MAC team or just some no podunk team. They line up to kick a field goal. They have the lead, I think. They kick the field goal. They miss. Musburger's reaction: Tennessee football. You're shitting me. That's how big an SEC homer you are. The other team that they shouldn't be losing to misses a kick. Tennessee football.
No,
So
wow.
it's hilarious.
Yeah, he's a bit of a nut hugger, that's for sure. No, so kind of wrapping up my thoughts around the Husker game at least, and then we can jump into more of that. But awesome, cool. We come back and win. Don't expect anything flashy. We'll be happy with a 7-win season, folks. If we hit 7 wins, you should be counting your blessings. Don't expect miracles the rest of the year.
No.
Hope these kids stay healthy because you've seen with Washington,
Oh, my
Wandale
God.
Robinson, Taylor,
The
or
injuries.
not Taylor, sorry, Adrian, but like
Adrian.
these, I keep doing that, damn it. But you've seen the talent and what's possible. We're not there. It's going to take some time.
No. I can't believe how physical that game was. How many injuries, how many trips to the tent. It isn't. It was on both sides. That was a physical, nasty game. They were Illinois' defense. They were on fire. They wanted to kick the ever living hell out of us. Something fierce. I'll give them credit. Like their defense wanted it bad.
Yeah, it was a
But yeah,
fun game to
no,
watch.
we are definitely another year or two away from really being in a good position of contention. I'm looking at the schedule and I'm trying to see wins, and it's ugly. Again, every year I am, but I was completely wrong about Wisconsin. Holy crap, that team's amazing again,
Yeah,
and they shouldn't be.
they put Michigan away.
And it
Wow.
wasn't even close. That final score was no indication how that game went. Like they quit. They're like, we got this. We're done now. You can go get your garbage time points, save some face, I guess. It was bad.
Yeah, that was pretty ugly for
So
sure.
we got Wisconsin's obviously going to be a hard game for us. Ohio State, we have this hard game against Illinois. We're beat up now. So we got to come home. We got to host probably by the time they come number 5 Ohio State. I don't see it going well at all. It's not going to go like last year where we kept them on the edge to the end. I think this is probably a pretty comfortable win for Ohio State. I mean, we're gonna put points on the board, and we're gonna get some decent stops, I think. But no, it's not gonna be a 70 to whatever that was yesterday beat down like they had over Miami, Ohio. But no, it's gonna be ugly. Probably early, and we'll probably have to fight back to get some points. But it's probably gonna be a comfortable win for Ohio State. Wisconsin, like I said, is gonna drum us probably pretty hard on the ground, through the air even. Purdue has a little bit of talent that they can hurt us with. That's a crapshoot for me. Maryland, I don't. It depends which Maryland team we get. They're either hot or they're cold. Northwestern, I'm not scared of. Minnesota, I'm not scared of. So there's a couple more, and then Iowa, they play some of their best football in November, and I don't know. It's hard to look at this and feel like, okay, yeah, I see a bowl game here. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think we can. I think there's a bowl game in front of us, unless we totally screw the pooch here. But yeah,
If you asked me in the first quarter last night, I said no. There's no chance at a bowl game. Nope, no way. We're getting torched here. Holy
yeah,
crap! Nope,
I
no
think
bowl game.
all of us. I think that what I posted on Facebook was, oh, this could get ugly. Dot
Yeah,
dot dot. I left it at that. Like,
yeah.
and then of course one of my brothers had to start being an asshat. But
Oh, that was fun. I read
yeah.
through that. That was great.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Anyway, we're not going to delve into that one. So we got Ohio State next week. Probably going to be an L. Like you can
Yeah.
put money on that. Then Northwestern,
You
like you
imagine,
said.
though.
Yeah. God, but then the hype train would be back and
I
stop
know.
it,
I
people.
know.
Stop it. But anyway, the one thing we do have in that game that's in our favor, it's a home game, and we are doing well at home games, and we're doing well with evening games. So we got both of those on our side. We will have the crowd behind us. The excitement of having game day around, like, it does create a buzz in the air. So you never know what could happen on that one, but not putting any money on that. Then we go to, let's see, we got Northwestern at Nebraska, then Minnesota. We travel there, those two. So coming out of Minnesota, we should be, let's see, we should be 5-2 coming out of Minnesota. So then that leaves Indiana, Purdue, Wisconsin, Maryland, Iowa. We have to just beat one of those to go bowling. I think that's possible.
I'm really worried about Purdue. Honestly, I think that I can't think of his name now.
But no, I'm just saying, coming out of the Minnesota game with 5 wins, all we need is to
Yeah.
either beat Indiana, Purdue, or Maryland. We can lose to Wisconsin. We can lose to Iowa. We just got to beat one of those 3. And hell,
I think it
we're
comes
bowling.
down to health at that point, like or depth.
That
It's
late in
gonna
the
be
season, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that late in the season, I'm really worried about depth. It's like on the offensive line. Ugh. So I feel like we're going to lose a game we shouldn't lose just because depth starts playing a factor. So I don't know.
That'll probably be
If we
Purdue.
got to 7 wins, I would be ecstatic at this point. I would just be over the moon. Because going 4-8 and 4-8, just man. After that Colorado game, I'm like, man, are we headed for another 4-8 year? I can't handle another one. Holy crap!
No. I think we're gonna be fine. I still think 7-5 win season should be okay with us. I think that's totally doable. If we were to hit a 9-3, holy shit! Like we got to pull ourselves together to get to that, but
Yeah.
that's even possible. If you look at a 9-3, who do we lose to? If we only lose to Ohio State and Wisconsin, and we pull off the
Yeah.
rest of it, hell, I'll take that. Then who cares about the loss to Colorado? Like I'll be like, well, shit, we're not that bad, but
You know what? I
I don't
want a
see
bowl
it.
game, and I want a bowl game, and I want it to be Colorado.
Oh
Make
God,
it happen.
Colorado's gonna start doing better though.
Shit. Yeah. Well, they like to beat us and then suck after that. So yeah.
So yeah,
Like that.
they are 2-0. What's Colorado got for a schedule here? They go against Air Force. Oh, they lost to Air Force,
They lost to Air Force.
but they
Yeah.
took out Arizona State. Now they play against
Yeah.
Arizona.
After.
But now, yeah, they got to play the Ducks. They got to play USC. They got to play Stanford,
Yeah.
Washington, UCLA, Utah. Ooh, yeah, they're not going to win a lot more games.
I doubt it. No, they probably won't go bowling. Yeah, I don't know.
they're 3-1 right now. For them to go bowling, they can beat Arizona. They could.
Yeah.
They might be able to beat Washington State. I don't think so, but they could. UCLA is not great.
That's one
They
of those
could
games
win
they
that
would
one.
win.
So they could get 6 wins. They're not beating
won't.
Oregon. They're not beating USC. They're
No.
not beating Washington. They're not beating Utah. So they might get
No.
6 or 7 wins, maybe.
I doubt 7, 6 if they're lucky. Yeah, give us a match. Give us the rematch. I'll take it. I'd
But
gladly get
that would
win
be
back.
epic.
I would love that. That this would be the time I'd actually want the rematch in the bowl game.
Yeah, yeah. Storied history there. God damn.
Yeah, the last time
Colorado.
game day came to Lincoln was 2007 when USC came here, and that was one of those years where
Oh, that was Bill Callahan.
yeah, that was the Bill Callahan. Yeah, and they had us ranked like super high for no reason other than to
Because
pack
Bill
USC.
Callahan was our coach. That's why.
Yeah,
We got an
Yeah,
NFL
USC's
big name coach. We're paying him millions of dollars to, yeah, to suck.
to do nothing. That's, yeah, okay, so in retrospect, who was worse, Callahan or Riley?
Callahan.
I think I agree.
He
and
flushed the
people-
toilet. Like he didn't have a stopper on that toilet. So when he flushed it, that shit just kept running out. And Bo Pelini tried to put a stopper in there. He really tried to stop that water from pouring out. But then he had to start talking shit about fickle fans. And
But if you look at it that way, Bo Pelini took Bill Callahan's squad and went 9-4 in year one. Scott Frost took over Riley's team and did the exact same thing that Riley did on his last year. So, is it a case of who was worse, or is it a case of who left the place in more shambles?
so I agree. Bo Pelini left.
Callahan had left a bunch of talent.
Yeah. He could recruit. He did have some good talent. He couldn't coach worth a shit, but
There it
yeah,
is.
no, I think Bo. Yeah, you're right. And with our transition from we were obviously exiting the Big 12 and we didn't have the pipeline. We didn't have a lot of the recruiting that we needed to. Whether that's Bo Pelini's fault or not, I'm not sure. Of course, I'm not there at the university. But our recruiting was terrible, and we weren't getting the top talent like we had before. And Riley didn't do any better with that. He would get a couple of 4-stars, but it's just
No, all the good guys that he recruited are either gone or never made it to campus. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like he had his foot in a lot of doors, but we didn't get the deal sealed with a lot of them, and it wouldn't have mattered if he did or not because he just couldn't coach him up.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's really it's
We've
a
had
tough
some
question.
we've had some shitty coaches. And we paid a lot of money. Like now Bo Pelini I don't think was a shitty coach. I actually really appreciated Bo Pelini, even though, rights and wrongs that he did while he was with the program. I thought he was our best and probably actually shows the best record out of any of them since Solich. So
Yeah.
I think he's probably the only one. But yeah, God, just Riley was just I get Facebook memories at the beginning of football season every year.
Oh yeah.
And then every weekend, like all the memes I used to post of us getting our ass whooped, and I'd be like, but he's such a nice guy. We gave them our plays. He's such a nice guy. We're just going to give them the ball. Like, I love it. I love looking back at some of those. It makes you feel better about getting your ass kicked.
I was so deflated when they announced that hire. Like, I was on my phone all day, you know, keeping up with it, and then that was the announcement. I'm like, huh? 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 So then I spent like the next 2 hours convincing myself that this was going to be a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
Finally,
I think we all did. We spent 2 years trying to convince ourselves that this was a good idea.
No, it was 7-0. We were in his second year, and I couldn't have felt worse about it. I felt better.
It was an ugly 7-0 too. It wasn't like we were
Yeah,
dominating.
terrible.
Like we were lucky 7-0.
Yeah, we barely beat Illinois that year.
Yep.
It was terrible. And like at that point, like man, you just know this is going to get bad, and it did. It got terrible. We still managed 9-4 after starting 7-0. So it was the wheels were falling off. It was pretty clear by the end of that year, and you knew heading into that third year with Diaco came in. You're like, oh man. Now they're just grasping at stuff. This is getting bad. People are like, oh, yeah, he's not afraid to change his staff around. It's going to get better. It's going to be so much better.
Yeah,
That third
so
year,
much better. Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. It was just a disaster. Like, 3
It's a
games
shit
in,
show.
Like, this sucks. This is terrible. So, I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
you know it's going to get better for Frost. People calling for his head are just...
They're
it's
stupid. Just stupid.
It's just stupid. That's done. Who are you going to hire? Who would you hire? This was our end game. Is Scott Frost is our end game.
We have to stick with him for like a good 10 years no matter what. Like
Yeah. Regardless. Yeah, we don't have a choice. This is it.
here's what you
Everybody
do.
wanted it.
Here's what
We
you do
got
when
it.
you pay these coaches millions and millions and millions of dollars and they don't perform for you. You go, "Oh, well, nobody will hire you and I'm not going to pay you as much anymore. So do better. I'm going to do a 1-year contract with you. If you do better, I'll double your salary next year." And then you start growing. Like, it's... I just don't understand why we're like, here's millions of dollars. You already earned it. Like, it's under contract. You got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now when 3 years goes by and you don't give a shit anymore, and I want you gone, otherwise you're probably just going to sit around and not care anymore. Riley, who is, in his 60s or 70s, like he's going to be coaching for 20 years for us. At least Scott Frost can build a legacy, and he can build a 30-year coaching, like he can try to beat Tom Osborne's record at home when it comes to most winningest coach. Like, that's what we needed from the freaking start. When they hired Riley, I remember being so pissed, and like, I get they didn't want to hire Scott Frost that early. He needed to prove himself, but I was like, what? Why not? Like, at this point, why not? Like, we went through that whole freaking Callahan thing, and then, the fans spoke up, and we got Bo Pelini to come back. But at that point, if you're going to fire Pelini, like, why not just bring somebody in? Why did we let him go to UCF, and why didn't we just bring him to Lincoln at that time?
That's the problem, though, because when we hired Bo Pelini, he was a first-time head coach. So it's really hard to justify firing him, bringing in a tenured guy, only to fire him and hire another first-time head coach.
Right.
So I was glad we didn't, but yeah, then he goes to UCF and there's an instant turnaround, and like, well, shit, maybe we should have.
Yep.
Like, yeah, because we wouldn't have the locker room hysteria of just horrible athleticism and no discipline and no strength and conditioning. Just think where we'd be at now if we got Frost in 2015.
Yeah.
It pisses me off in retrospect now.
It does. And I was thinking it then, and everybody was telling me I was stupid and I was crazy, and I was like, he's going to end up here eventually anyway. Why not just fucking get ahead of it?
Exactly. That's why I was like, I was fine with him going somewhere, cutting his teeth, and really hammering out the process, and then coming here. Because that was what I looked at. That's why I got on board with the Riley hire. I'm like, okay, we're not going to get 10 years out of this guy. if he can give us 3-4 years, bring in some awesome talent, get the program looking on a positive note again, and not every other play we're looking at angry Bowface. Okay, he can leave this in a really good place for the next guy, and hopefully it's Scott Frost. And then that happened really fast, and he tanked us back to the Stone Age. Well, here, Scott, do what you can with this. So, yeah.
I'm glad you said angry Bowface. Oh my God, some of the old memes.
Yeah.
I got one for you
Oh,
here
they're the
too.
best.
Here you go. Yes.
Oh, gotta love the sweater.
Him and
Gotta
his
love the
cat.
sweater.
So for those just
That's
listening in, we got the old Bo Pelini meme of him holding the wearing a Christmas sweater and holding a kitty with the little Christmas hat on it.
That is Photoshop, just if anybody's wondering.
What? No way.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not real. It's not real. I wish it were.
There were so many great memes.
Oh, man, that's why I enjoyed having him as the coach so much. Because, man, yeah, I get it. He says horrible things about us, but he wasn't technically wrong. I
No,
didn't
he
like the
wasn't.
fact he was shopping around for new jobs, but, what coach doesn't do that? Not all of them get recorded in confidence behind closed doors, though. And, yeah, he'd get mad on the sideline. He'd cost us penalties and stuff. But, man, he was fun to have as coach. And football was so much more fun when he was our coach.
So
We
you
got
tell
Riley,
me,
and I
you
just
tell me
deflated.
anybody who's given that job would not have said "fuck you, fans." Fuck you, you fickle fans. Like,
Well, there you go. Like, that's the thing. Like, everybody wants to dwell on that. Like, screw him for saying that. It was a private moment after a big comeback win, and the crowd was
and
just
he beat Ohio State.
yeah,
Like,
and the crowd was terrible. So, yeah, I get why he was angry, and he got recorded behind closed doors saying stuff that he probably didn't mean. And now we got to hear about it even today. Like, screw him. Come on. Who doesn't say stuff behind closed doors that they wouldn't say out in the public? So I don't get hung up on that. I didn't love, he got fired and he was jaded about that. So he kind of, he came back and he talked to the players and that whole farewell thing. That didn't go well. But, I don't hold a grudge against him. I think he was still a pretty good coach overall.
yeah. So I don't know that in his farewell tour there, and he pulled all the kids back in and did his little did his little farewell tour. Like, to me, as a fan, that made me feel better that he actually gave a shit about the kids, and it wasn't just about playing football, and it wasn't just about appeasing the fans and appeasing the college. He cared about the kids. So, regardless of what you thought about him, on his way out, he wanted to make sure those kids knew what was going down and that he cared about them, and if they needed anything, they could always get a hold of him. Which was just, that's to me like, dude, if it were me on my way out with anything like that, that's all I'd want the kids to know is, hey, this is on me. It's not on you. You need anything, you let me know. But, like, just know that you guys have a bright future, blah, blah, blah. Whatever you got to tell them. Give some inspiration. But, yeah, don't just, yeah, run off and act like none of it ever happened or fuck Nebraska. Like, he didn't do that. Like, he showed he cared about
No.
those kids.
No, but most of his harsh words were about Sean Eichhorst, and people like he was so mean on his way out. Well, look back at it now. Are you really a big Eichhorst fan? Nobody is. He did a terrible job. He was horrible. I thought he was going to pan out too. I really did, and that became pretty clear real quick that his only function, he was hired to fire Bo Pelini, and he couldn't do it in 2013. So he went around the boosters and everybody else and did it in 2014 after a win. And that was his function. He was hired to fire a guy. He was not hired to hire a person. He made one phone call to Brett Bielema. Tried to get Brett Bielema here. Brett Bielema used that to get an extension and a raise from Arkansas. So he panicked and went down his list to about his 11th or 12th choice and hired Mike Riley.
Yep.
There he is.
So here we go, folks. So this is like a minute 42. Here's the actual rant that we're speaking of. Should have some audio on here. Let me get that unmuted. So you should be able to hear. This is the hot mic in question that we keep talking about with Bo Pelini. So I'll just play it along here.
Were you out there? Is that wrong to do? No, you're all right. You're okay. You're all right.
He came in late too, we had already
He
talked
had his
about Taylor,
questions.
and then he pushed his way right up there.
He had his questions.
I'm not dealing with that guy anymore. The piece of shit. The whole world here, Tom Chiquel, fuck him too. Fuck him. That's what I'm gonna tell him. He wants to walk out after my press conference.
He
I'm
does
gonna
that
say,
every week.
get the fuck away from me. I'm done with you, motherfucker.
They don't
I'm
ever
done
take
with
anything
Yeah.
that's up front, they think they have to be,
You know what?
it's just
I
rude. that's what it is.
took everything in my power to not say, fuck you fans. Fuck all of you.
You can't-
Fuck them.
We had students who didn't come back to the second half. That upper corner was open.
There were a lot of people that they did come back though, I mean, despite the rain and that. It wasn't,
Hard crowd. What a bunch of fucking fair weather fucking. They can all kiss my ass on my way out the fucking door. Because the day is fucking coming now. We'll see what they can do when I'm fucking gone. I'm just so fucking pissed off.
You guys showed some guts tonight.
No doubt. It's their character too.
Yeah.
We ain't that good. We got some holes.
Right.
Shit, we had a fucking wide receiver playing corner.
Right. What a great play, though. He made it great.
Oh, shit.
He turned into a wide receiver again. Made a great over-the-shoulder catch.
and Charles,
Ugh. All right, let's crank this here. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
that's the-
I love hearing it back now.
I know it gets really colorful, and yeah, he's talking out of anger. He's talking to people he thought, he was venting. This is called venting, and everybody vents. Like, you have a bad day, you go home, you vent. Who doesn't do that? And you're gonna throw this guy in the fire because of that. I get it. It's offensive to us as Husker fans, but get over it.
Not to me. When it came out, I was like, fuck yes. This is why I like Bo Pelini. This is why I want him as my coach. Like, I was so, like, finally, I get to hear what he really thinks, because, yeah.
You're not getting coach speak. You're
Right.
getting his thoughts.
Yeah. Getting to hear what he really thinks about us. Like, no,
The
I
only thing
loved
I
it.
didn't like was the fact you can clearly hear him talking about shopping himself around. He thought he had the Miami job, kind of locked up at this point, if he wanted it. And that fell through, clearly, because he's still at Youngstown State in 2019.
Yeah. So,
That's the thing. Like, I thought he was a pretty good coach overall. Yeah, we had really, really bad losses under him, and a lot of them were completely inexcusable. But he was a pretty good coach, yet he's still at Youngstown State. Is that more of him wanting to be there, or is that nobody at the FBS level wants to hire him?
I don't know. He was well touted as one of the most genius defensive minds before he
And
came
when he has
to.
the talent, it shows on the field.
Oh yeah, like he was our defensive coordinator. He went to Oklahoma. Didn't he do a stint in LSU as well? I can't remember everywhere he went.
Yeah, he
but
was at LSU when we hired him.
like everywhere he went, he had either national championship national championship defensive teams that were just crushing it. Like he was.
That's the year LSU won the national championship. Was his last year.
Yeah, like so he when he was with us, was that back when was that in 2001 season when we actually were good, or I can't remember
Yeah,
when he was our defensive coordinator.
I thought it was 2002, 2003.
So we were still a good team. Like we hadn't totally fallen
Yeah,
apart
we
yet.
had talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, when he's got the talent, he makes it work well. So I think it comes down to that. If he could get a great staff around him that could recruit, he'd be a really good coach at the FBS level. But he kind of likes to surround himself with yes men who don't really challenge his direction or offer him another way of doing stuff. So that was his biggest downfall. He did not want to make any adjustments. he's committed to people. I mean, that's not a character flaw until it is. So, I don't know. I think at this point, maybe now, if he came back to the FBS ranks, you'd really see a much more fine-tuned Bo Pelini with a better staff, and he could be successful in a lot of places.
He needs to get probably a smaller venue. He needs a UCF. Like he needs like what Scott Frost did. He needs something like that to let him kind of dabble and show a couple things off. But like, it'd be, just throw, what if he went to Colorado or Colorado State and made them into something like, make them a recognized name again, or take a Tulane and make him, ranked like that, that type of thing. That's what he needs.
No, I agree. That's the thing. Hiring a first-time coach at the FBS level, at a Nebraska level, and hiring one who's never cut their teeth as a head coach.
With the expectations. Ugh.
Exactly. It's not like hiring somebody to coach Purdue who's never coached before. You're cutting your teeth there.
Yeah,
But
the
it's still
fans
a
don't
big
give a
time
shit in
program.
Purdue.
No. So, yeah, it's a big burden, and I think he really felt the burden here.
Oh
Especially
God,
at the
who
end.
wouldn't?
It was just time to part ways. I wish he could have gotten hired away instead of it ending the way it did. Then people could have a real reason to be pissed off instead of, well, he made angry faces and said fuck us.
Yeah. Well, I make angry faces and say fuck us every Saturday, so.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think that pretty much wraps that up, doesn't it?
I think so, man. I don't even know how long we've been going. This has probably been a couple
while.
hours. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's been a long one.
God damn. Yeah, it's almost 2 hours in. Yeah. This was a good one. We got a lot of good stuff. Yeah. Hell yeah. I don't think I have to do a lot of editing with this either. I think.
Good. That's nice for a change.
Except for me swatting fucking flies every now and then.
Keep it in there. Cracked me up.
Yep. Got that buffalo trace. Shit is
had that.
good.
I have not had that. I will have to try that.
That's what I'm on tonight. God damn.
I was on Niagara water.
Niagara water?
Yeah, Niagara water.
Niagara's.
Now you got to do editing.
Yep. Towards the end, that's all good. I don't know. So we talked about, holy shit, what all did we cover tonight? We talked about
Area 51, Battle of LA, and football was the big stuff. Oh,
Yeah,
and a
it
little
was
bit of Beto.
a little bit of Beto. Yeah, a little bit of Beta. I'm going to call him Beta from now on. That's what he
Beta.
is.
Beto Max.
What do you got in mind for next week? Any thoughts, or where do we want to go with this? I know we did JFK last week, and kind of dabbled into it. There's so many different directions to go, so we could always do that. Or do you have anything else you want to look into?
Oh, I'll have to look at the list again, but yeah, I mean, I'm open for whatever.
Well, you're pretty open-minded over there, aren't you, Tony?
Guess so.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, folks. Like, share, subscribe. Since I didn't mention it at the beginning of the episode, now I got to put a stupid ticker at the beginning, and
Yes,
by now you
I like
don't
the
care
ticker.
that I did a ticker. So,
I like the ticker. Keep it.
yeah, I got to get better about the subliminal message thing that we talked about.
Yeah.
Like,
It works. It works.
you'll have to just like point out sometimes you want like, hey,
Okay.
put a ticker in here, like. Just maybe, should I just do like a one frame shot at boobs every now and then?
Yes.
And then,
Yes. 'Cause somebody will watch if we say at the beginning of the episode, for half a second there will be boobs. And somebody's going to watch the whole thing through. Even if it's
Yeah.
at the tail end, then they'll watch. It's
oh,
brilliant.
yeah. I'll put that on the ticker at the beginning of this one at somewhere.
There you go. Watch
Somewhere.
through the whole thing, and there will be boobs.
Now, we're not telling you whose boobs.
No. They might not even be on a girl.
Well, I
You like
promised
that
boobs
side
on
boob?
here now, Tony. Jesus.
You likes that side boob? That's my side boob.
I got an old picture of my sister biting your tit from like
Oh,
15
yeah.
years ago. Maybe I'll just do a flash picture of that.
It hurt. It hurt. It hurt a lot. I still feel that.
All right, folks. Again, we'll wrap this one up. Appreciate you jumping on, and hopefully you guys had some fun. Listen along there. I'll split these up into a couple of different ones, but whatever. I'm talking to myself at this point and gonna have to edit all this out. But again, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you next week. As always, love you. Bye.
Later.